Evening, Annette.
I take it we're all going to be looking at what the reaction is online to that shock killing of the Tunisian politician.
That's right. It was initial reactions on social media, and now we're getting some analysis pieces, some headlines in the Tunisian, North African, and of course media around the world as well. So let's take a look at some of those reactions. Slate Afrique, Tunisia died with Mohamed Brahmi. Now that's a very strong headline. It's one of the most, I suppose, emotive headlines I've seen. Many associate the murder of the opposition leader with a desire to completely suck out the foundations of the republic. Right now, elsewhere, Capitalist, which is another Tunisian online magazine, after the assassination of Mohamed Brahmi, who's next, right? Now, that is a reference, of course, to Mr. Chukri Belaid, who was another opposition leader killed just 6 months ago, Annette, in very similar circumstances. And that is a photo of both Mr. Chukri and Mr. Brahmi demonstrating together. So these were two very critical voices for Ennahda.
Certainly those killings are very destabilising for the country, especially given it's sort of in its embryonic stages as a fledgling democracy.
That's right. And it happened on the festival of the Republic. It's La Fête de la République, or the National Republican sort of celebration. It's every day this year the Tunisian Republic is celebrated. And so what you have a lot of people saying now is this was the assassination of that republic and of those republican values, whatever people might say about Ennahda and whether they actually represent that sort of republican democratic system. It is, officially at least, a republic that celebrates that every day, every year on this day. This was circulating on social media, and at the assassination of Mr. Mohamed Brahmi, on the day of the republic. And you can see there the Tunisian flag and the red descending into a pool of blood.
James, has all the reaction online been very much pro-Mohamed Brahmi? Are we getting any response or anything from the Islamist point of view?
It's been overwhelmingly critical of Ennahda and in favour of Mr. Brahmi. Now, you could say, is that the profile of people who use social media in Tunisia? Tunisia has a very active social media presence.
Doesn't it? We saw that during the Tunisian uprising.
Absolutely. And so perhaps the profile of those people more active on social media would be in favour of Mr. Brahmi, perhaps critical of Ennahda. Now, Ennahda has been obviously very mindful that this does not look good for them at all, even though many would say, in what way how could this ever serve the interests of Ennahda? Because, of course, it would boomerang right back against them if they had any association with the people behind it.
We need to stress that they are a moderate Islamist
That's
party.
right. And in English, look at this, Ennahda's international page. They were quick to put up a message in English from Mr. Ghannouchi, the Prime Minister. Tunisia Prime Minister condemns the hateful crime against Mr. Brahmi and against the country's stability. So they're trying to get that message out there strongly, that they are certainly very angry about what had happened, and they're condemning it. Now, what else is worth showing, Annette? A lot of people pointing to, of course, that assassination of Chukri Belaid just 6 months ago. And in fact, some people saying that the fact that his killers are still free is perhaps partly to blame for the conditions that allowed this particular assassination to take place. Imad Mestua is a London-based political analyst. Brahmi's assassination was a natural outcome of a staggering level of impunity. Belaid's assassins are still out there.
It's still a concern, as you say, because we're 5 or 6 months down the track and we still don't have any idea who was responsible for that assassination. And as Imad points out, the longer that continues,
that's right,
the more dangerous it is.
The irony of this is there have been some rumblings that the government has a sense of who the 6 people behind this are, but the public doesn't know. None of that information has been released yet, and a minister did make a declaration to that end yesterday, but we're none the wiser right now as to who was behind Chukri Belaid's assassination 6 months ago. Now, lots of photos of crowds demonstrating in the streets of Tunis and elsewhere. This is in front of the Interior Ministry, Annette, and Nawat, which is a Tunisian media, saying that the crowd here is shouting, "Get out." Interior Minister is terrorist minister, and Ghannouchi assassin. Ghannouchi is the Prime Minister. So what the crowd was shouting, according to this tweet at least, was very negative and directing that anger towards Ennahda, almost concluding that they're behind this. And of course, there's no proof of that for now. Other scenes on front of the hospital, Annette, and the widow has been getting an awful lot of attention because she acted with such dignity at the hospital and responded to all of the journalists' questions despite her own personal grief.
James CREEDON, thank you so much for that. That's James CREEDON, our Media Watch editor. Now let's take a look at the day's business news.